What's going on? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How you doing? I'm gonna go live in just a second. See what we got going on. What's up? What's up? I just got on. You just told me I just got on. I'm trying to hit my other one direct. So let me keep on talking. As long as you can hear me, we there. It's got me live right now. So I'm on
It's got
now.
me live right now.
Yeah, I got your comment. I the problem I run into is that sometimes if I have any technical difficulties, I sometimes um whatever's going on. Do tell me about that. Explain it to me because I don't understand the gist of it. What that mean though. So do tell me because I'm a little slow with it. But do let me know what that mean. What they've done with the 5 video thing because I'm not. I don't do everything with YouTube. Sometime whatever thing that's going on, because I'm not in and out like that. And when I'm on it, um I don't get all my information. I'm still putting some stuff together. So that's all. So do tell me what that means. As I don't know what all that mean, but do tell though. I was a little bit late with that. Okay. They ain't told me nothing. God, they always got some stupid janky rules. Oh, cool, cool. Glad you're alive. What's up? Eddie Johnson, what's the word? 5 video. Okay, that's crazy. Well, I'm usually on between now. It's like an hour. If you take an hour to this hour and you go back hour and a half to two, I'm usually on somewhere in that window. So if you tell me what time you got right now. Okay, okay. All right. Yeah, yeah, okay. Okay. Isn't it okay, so around this time, you're right because there are times I would be anywhere from I would say from 1 o'clock to about 4 o'clock is usually the window I come in. If I'm not on by 4 o'clock your time, then it'll be very unlikely I come on because I like to get on between 3:30 your time, 4 at the latest. And if I'm on at 4 your time, I'm probably on for like an hour. But I like to be on before that. So between 1 and 3 is usually my best peaks. If I'm on for 4, that means I'll be on for like an hour. Okay. Yeah. But it was more to do with a buddy of mine back in Virginia who did gigs. Just the fact that they weren't paying, that Larry Blackman was very stagnant. He's not the only band leader that's like that, though. So before I say anything and people think that's just picking on him, they all like that. George Clinton was like that. Prince was like that. Rick James was like that. Maurice White was like that. Herschel Walker. Can that, isn't that the most obvious one with the fake I'm a sheriff? I mean, do you get more? Is that one more? Do you need anyone more than that? You remember that? I'm a sheriff. He went to Toys R Us and came up with a toy badge. I'm like, what the heck was he doing? Um, you could say, when sometimes with Shaquille O'Neal, it gets kind of blurry because it goes in that direction. He tried to be jovial with everybody, but there's certain things. Um, Not in person, but I seen the video just like you did. If you saw the video last year where he had the toy cop with the badge, remember he was running for that seat against that brother and he lost? That dude was a tap dancer too, that Democratic dude. Yeah, Eddie, the music business pays the money man. So if you lead the band, they give you the money. They don't care about the band because they only go where the money go. That's how it go. That's why people Puffy was able to get where he got. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Now to see him in person, but you know what they do to politic is pretty much what they really are like. So, and I don't, yeah. I mean, he's sitting up there flashing. I was cracking up. I mean, but he was like that though. See, most of these cats is really like that though. So it's only going to be escalating. I don't want to. I want to remember Herschel Walker as one of the greatest natural talents I ever saw. It just didn't translate to his pro career, but the guy was a freak. You talk about Bo Jackson and Dion. This cat could bobsled. He could run. He could play for. He was a freak, but he was kind of odd though. Odd talent. Thanks. Well, no, because Maurice owns the rights to Earth, Wind, and Fire's name. Then Verdine ended up working for him. Ralph did too. No, Fred White. Fred White did. It was business. The one thing I'm gonna tell you about the music business: don't mix your feelings with your family. You'll get your feelings hurt. It's a business. And as a matter of fact, as long as Philip Bailey and Verdine were in the band, it was still told to them. And the son runs it now. It's you work for the company, which you work for Maurice White. It's not what you think. But I don't really do a whole lot of, the first time someone's asked me about that, the business is not what you always think it is. Oh yeah, I did a video about that too yesterday, and I watched some of those videos, and they were. I did watch those videos because I was on one of them sites where they was clowning because OJ was talking about how he's still macking out in these streets. That was about a year ago, and they were cracking up. But one thing about him after Vegas, he got real black because like he be saying some stuff, and he spoke out on some stuff. So a lot of people who missed that didn't really pay him no mind. Of course, I followed him on X, Twitter, and X. I remember when he had COVID. I remember when he went to Costco and he had mask on. He stocked up crazy water. It was crazy. He had a crazy video where he had all his toilet paper and water. It was crazy. But yeah, I did the Stephen A. Thank you, and then the Russell today. Yeah, I been what the elder was going. I went with the elder. I liked the elder video, and I had to do my own flip about Russell. I took it in a different direction. And like I said, I know what I think he was trying to say. He just didn't come out the right way. But he also got to remember that he did have the Legion of Boom. Let's not act like you playing with an okay, good defense. You played one of the best defenses in the last 25 years. Who are we kidding? I mean, if I'm honest with you, let me think. Because after Seattle lost that Super Bowl, New England won that Super Bowl. If I have to go by a defense, that might have been the last great defense I saw. I'm thinking. No Von Miller with Denver, but it was because of him mainly. Wasn't blown away by Kansas City's 3, but they're good Tampa Bay, so. Well, I'm gonna tell you something. If Christmas Carol don't give away that Super Bowl, we're looking at Russell a little bit different. 2 rings makes a difference. That one win that ring against New England. That's like I used to tell my buddy when LeBron and D Wade and Bosh and them beat San Antonio. That's like the equivalent to 2 rings if you beat Pops and Duncan and them, because that was a big task. And that would have been Russell would have been definitely Canton bound and knocking on top 10 door when you put stats and everything, regardless of what he did if he beats New England. Because then that would have been his Super Bowl to shine. There wouldn't have been no, because he was just as good to make that comeback. Because actually, that was his Super Bowl to shine. Because New England came back, but we won't never know now. That would have been huge for his resume. Huge. Because think about it, he's been to one more Super Bowl than Aaron Rodgers has. And we don't look at Russell as the same sentence as Aaron, but if he wins another Super Bowl, he passes Aaron up almost. He's neck and neck. That's how big two rings would have been for Russell Wilson, especially when you consider his stats and where he was, and he had postseason success and regular season success. So, and besides, I feel for you too because let's be realistic, they should have won that Super Bowl. That's the way they got that Christmas gift against Green Bay. So oh well, we'll never know. Okay, cats, come on now. Somebody say something. That thing didn't freeze up because I'm online on double. I'm on double line. Looking forward. So come on through. I know it's Saturday night. Yeah, Derek Mason was what we call a nice third tier receiver. He did a little bit of everything, but he wasn't a difference maker, but he got stuff done. No, most brothers, I tell you all the time, most brothers never did get top tier receivers. They get top tight ends or something. They never got no receivers. Never. As a matter of fact, I can make the case that Mahomes when he had Tyreek Hill, but he's a rare. That situation is rare. Very seldom do you get a top tier receiver and you win, and if you're black, and then you lose him and you still win. So Mahomes is a pretty special quarterback right there. That's what Brady did. That's what Montana did. They're the only ones I seen that they were um, dominant with or without top tier receivers. The only quarterbacks. That's why Mahomes is in that sentence with those guys. That puts him right there alone. Most of the time, black receiver quarterbacks didn't have that to start with. So I call it like I remember it. They don't set the brothers up like they do the white boys. That's a fact. You get white cats get dominant. Okay. Well, what makes me more upset with Baker is that he getting a big deal and they worked with him. And what I mean by that is that he was looking like he was he looking more scrubbed than he did a bum because he really was inconsistent. I mean, think about it. I mean, you go from what Cleveland, Carolina, the Rams. You're on your fourth team. Yeah, and he missed the targets because you remember ODB's daddy had that video and showed how erratic he was. And that's how ODB ended up with the Rams. His pops put him on blast. One of the times that it actually made sense because his dad put him on blast. He missed cats bad too. He was throwing wide, wild, but because he got the complexion, they found a way to keep him around. They showed they got him to Tampa Bay, but he did show his erratic ways against Detroit, though. That last pick he threw was bad. So we'll see if it was. He's got a couple things going for him. The NFC ain't that deep in quarterbacks, and he's in a sorry butt division, so he should look better than what he is. Just saying. I don't know if he's recovered. We will see. I doubt it. He did okay in the Super Bowl. He was okay. My problem with him was against y'all because it took him the fourth quarter before he got his mojo going. He got lucky against Detroit because this Dan Campbell got cute. Should have finished that butt off. He was okay in the Super Bowl. He looked okay. He gets enough to get through. Wasn't the reason why they lost the Super Bowl though. He wasn't. Not all the way. I put that more on shenanigans. I got more of that. But I will say this about complexion. He's everything that Cam Newton called out. He's not the kind of quarterback that is established firm in foot where you say, okay, they're going to win. So, but that's on the coach though. I'm not even gonna be mad with Purdy. What's up? What's up? Glad to have you come through. What's happening? Glad you're back. And even though two things can be true, I'm not the biggest Purdy fan, sold him like that, but it ain't his fault. No, not the way Shanahan, because he just don't finish up. He just don't know how to finish. We talk about this all the time. You got to know how to finish if you're gonna be a championship level coach. You can't be giving up situations. Past the foot, they hit 2 feet on them. They heck you up 24-7, and all you got to do is kick a couple field goals, and they got to come out and hit touchdowns. They got to go on fourth down. They got to drain clock to catch up to you, and you try to be cute. Dan Campbell, man, I understand you got robbed in Dallas, but you can't take that attitude. You got to know how to win postseason football. And that's why when you ain't never been exposed to nothing, you don't be playing this tough guy, oh, we're going to slug it out. Beat them busters while you got a chance. So I did not like how it ended. You know, it was so funny too, because OJ did it. OJ was on X, and he said one of the first games he went to was San Francisco, Detroit, the last time Detroit beat Frisco, and he said the score was 24-7. Uh, the 49ers, it was in 57, and the Lions came back and won. Talk about eerie spirits. I never get that because he talked about that on X. But yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. But that's what happens, though. So yeah, he was. He dressed up like him for Halloween and all that. Ain't no problem with that. I mean, I think the world of Mahomes too. I got a Buffalo Bills buddy of mine to come in sometime. He'll tell you up and down. I wanted Mahomes or Lamar, drafted quarterback. I saw enough in college where I thought, yeah, I'd take one of them cats. I knew they were going to be something. Just not, I didn't see Mahomes as this, though. This defied expectation. I mean, I knew he had a chance to be great. I just didn't see top 3. And believe me, after the first couple of years, I was saying, no, this guy's top 10. And then he went up to top 5. I have not seen anybody hit me that quick. Not in football. Football is a little bit longer, but there was something different about him. You know, sometimes you just see a basketball. I can see a guy pretty quickly. Football, I have to give a little bit, but this dude was different. I just knew he was built different. I have had that happen though. It's like recognizing somebody's greatness, and I'm thinking, yeah, they're gonna be that one. And Lamar's better than they got credit for giving too. He just got to do more in the postseason, but he went to his first AFC Championship game, so you know. But you just happen to be in the era with someone that's just a little bit better than everybody. That's all, and it happens. Every generation has one. Every era has one. You live long enough, you'll see a guy and you'll go, "Wow, it's his era," and everybody else is riding shotgun. So, all right, now let's get some talks in. So we working with. Which one was that? Do you recall? I don't know if it was a bobblehead or something. I mean, you could say that that contract he got was racist, but he more than fulfilled it, though. Lord knows. I mean, you win one Super Bowl, that's half the deal. You won 2. I mean, more than fulfilled a contract. Yeah, they won't look at it like that though. But yeah, no, I don't know if he said anything about it. So, but they're making hand over fist on him. I know that for a fact. Yeah, OJ knew that Mahomes was the truth. Hmm. If you've been a football fan for long enough and you've observed stuff, you know who's the truth, who ain't. So it's with excuse me, with any sport. You just be a fan of it long enough, you'll see some guy. Like I said, you see some guys come along. Who cares? Who cares? They know when they got rid of their center, Max Unger, for Johnny Graham, who they used to spank and beat when they played New Orleans, and they try to get more offense for him, and then Golden Tate, all that with the ex-wife, and then Lockett, who got arrested recently in Atlanta messing with guns. They had they brought speedster receivers, but the problem is, yeah, he is. He was one of the best things between him at center and Marshawn in the back. Russell had a component. It made him look better than he was. They dug Baldwin and they got what's we call it receiver now. But Pete Carroll's style of offense calling, I don't know. The offensive line they lost a lot on the line. He got beat up the last few years before they got rid of him. So Russell lost a lot. But he can hate on Mahomes all he want. If have you ever seen the Five Heartbeats, the movie? But I know you've heard of it if you haven't seen it. You remember the scene with Eddie King? I was you. You were me. That's what Russell's like now to Patrick Mahomes. I'm the king. I'm Eddie. You trying to be me. Not quite. That's what it's like. And I'm like, no. Listen, Russell bad for his movements and he got a deep arm and all that, but he ain't Mahomes. I mean, you can Eddie King it and say you were me and all that. No, 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 no. Not quite. Not quite. Because if Pete Christmas Carroll had Mahomes, he'd have a chance to look like he was catching Belichick and Shula and them. Well, he better because his wife's booty had gotten bigger and she still thinks she got a career. And he is playing quarterback couch potato now everywhere he's trying to latch on to Pittsburgh because he was just below average in Denver. I know he had a big year last year and people gonna throw the stats and stuff, but Denver was not a threat. Sean Payton hated him, got him up out of there. And white folks got his butt up out of there. They didn't even have a legit backup. Had the beer man and say, you want backup? Problem with him is he been a diva. He got spoiled in Seattle. He didn't know how good he had it. And Sierra wanted to be in the bigger city. That's what happened. So got his butt up out of there. He stayed in Seattle about 4 years too long, 3 or 4 years too long. That's what messed him up. Hey, he got out about 2017. Oh yeah, that white man was chewing his butt out on the sideline and told him, sit your elder barge hair self on down. You ain't playing no more. Because when a screw up hack like Paul Hackett can bench your behind against your first game against Seattle, and you coming back, and they don't let you go for it. They let Poochie go out there and try to shank that long kick. That was the end of you right there. And then you just stunk the first year in Denver. I mean, he stunk. He looked old. I got asked. Actually, but it was like I had a cat who asked me, "Well, how come Brady older and Russell looks so busted?" I said, "It's because he's busted, yo. He was busted. He was busted. I don't know what happened to him, but he fell off bad. Well, he didn't look that good the last 2, 3 years in Seattle. Their defense had fell off. He had some stats and some stuff, but he wasn't. No one was sweating him, you know. So yeah. So he's got his last hope here with Pittsburgh. And he ain't gonna get the job because it's gonna be Justin Fields. Ain't nobody stupid. Can't let Justin Fields sit there and play behind no Russell. First time Russell throws 2 picks, his butt's riding the pine for 6 weeks to 8. He knows it. I think Russell's maybe using Tomlin to know he can hook up somewhere else. And I know somebody's gonna think it's gonna be some great story that they're gonna win. I don't quite see it because they gave up a lot where he was concerned. They ticked a lot of people off. And see, I lived in the area, and I don't know if you heard or not. Sherm wasn't happy about him. Michael Bennett was indifferent with him. I think Cam Chancellor was too. Earl Thomas was cray cray. Them cats weren't feeling him. They thought he was a diva. Marshawn took a shot at him too. It was hilarious. They weren't feeling him. Man. Them cats were looking at him like some prissy, pompous brother with a perm who thought he was like Billy D. Williams or something, like he was the lead singer and they was his peasants. Like they the pips, like they gonna be in the background. He is fake. He grew up in the hood. Actually, his story, I have a buddy of mine who used to joke all the time. He said, I bet you in 10 years he'll be on a white Bronco. He's trying to compare him to OJ like he's gonna do something. I said, he grew up in Virginia, played baseball because he got drafted by Texas Rangers. He actually has some street in him, but I remember when he was with that white girl, he was acting all. He made some of the most corniest airplane videos for the local Northwest Airlines. If you ever get a chance to see them cornball movies, like them cornball commercials, type in Russell Wilson's commercials. You're gonna cringe. That stuff sucked. I used to sit there and watch that garbage. He's like, oh, we're gonna fly. Oh, I'm like, this dude was a cornball. But he had a ring and he had success and he could play. But just what got Rob Parker fired about RG3, the same thing could apply to Russell Wilson because them commercials was cringy. I mean, they were so corny. Marshawn Lynch still got commercials in Seattle as we speak. Beast mode. Russell didn't get the respect. No, I know Seattle diehard fans. If you ask them who's the greater athlete out of King Griffey Jr. and Russell in Seattle, even though Russell got the ring and went to 2 Super Bowls, they still gonna tell you Griffey. Yeah, but Vin being corny was because of how he carried himself. But Vin was still a brother. He just, he still was a brother. Russell alienated folks, yo. I lived there. He alienated folks. He was on that pompous, like you smell type of attitude. That's what I'm talking about. That's why they didn't really feel him. I'm just telling you what's up. Vin was corny because he did a corny singing and all that. And he came in behind Kemp and all that. But it wasn't corny because he couldn't play. Russell could play, but he turned a lot of people off. Let's just say that. And then he comes out here and starts talking about how important he is as a black quarterback, especially when he didn't really put himself out there like that per se. So I just call it like I see it and what I remember. That's all. Well, because let me break this down to you like this. Russell came in and could throw a deep ball, hit some big games, had great confidence, you know. He could scramble, he could run. And he was in you can make the case that a few years he was top 10 MVP worthy. He had some moments and stuff, right? But see the difference between him and Mahomes, oh yeah, and his former teammate, Mr. Jones, who Seattle unloaded, got to Kansas City on their defense. But they don't have what you call all these great they don't have a great defense. They got a bend don't break, but they're not a defense that you sit there and you're in awe of. Russell, and if we just gonna strip it to offense, what they had to work with, Russell had more to work with than Mahomes did, especially this past year. You know, Mahomes has never had he had a chance for Kareem Hunt and uh, 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 the other back I forgot. Yeah, Chris Jones was there, and they ran him out. How'd that turn out? How's that looking right now? Pete Christmas Carol. How's that look right now? Jones up here talking about Jones was looking like Emmitt Smith when they lost that game to Detroit. They got that check to him. Because back in 93, when Emmitt Smith held out for Dallas and Ronald Lassiter was a running back, because I was talking to this about a buddy the other day, and I said Jerry Jones had to cut that check. Kansas City had to cut that check. And you see where they ended up. Seattle didn't. See how that worked? Seattle was trying to be cheap and save money, and yeah. But Russell is upset because his career didn't, and again, they were so busy trying to be cute against New England, they win the game, he has 2 rings. We have a different discussion about him because he did look good in that Super Bowl. He didn't have to do nothing in the Super Bowl against Denver because Peyton Manning stunk it up. Peyton Manning was playing for both teams. So he ain't had to do nothing, okay? If you remember that Super Bowl, you know exactly what I mean. That's why I don't have Peyton Manning in my top 5. Well, I have a hard issue with him overall. If we're going regular season, Peyton is top 2 to 3 ever. I can make that case. But if we're going the whole totality in the postseason, he slides. And he's never had a memorable Super Bowl. So, but anyway, that's what happened with that. But yeah, he probably is. He's probably mad because Mahomes is getting everything. He probably think, this you with me. Get his Eddie King on. Yeah, I was the king. I said, no, you weren't. You weren't as talented as Mahomes. You talented, but you ain't Mahomes talented. Mahomes be making stuff happen. You're right. You're right. You're right. Because it took that type of discipline to balance him out. Or you just gonna be another freestyle quarterback who never experiences stuff. And it was a balance. Because Dungy was a technician, especially the way he coached defense. He was a technician. And Peyton ain't gonna say nothing else wise. I ain't never gonna get the feeling that Peyton would say otherwise. You know. But don't act like Jim Caldwell didn't do pretty good by him either. Caldwell did pretty good by him too. You know. But just one of those things. But yeah. But yeah, I knew a lot about Seattle situation. Uh Gary Kubiak. Gary Kubiak, who was the head coach of Denver when they won against Carolina. No, well, he didn't do nothing in Denver. Not that Super Bowl win. He was just basically a standstill quarterback. Got a funny story because a buddy of mine was a huge Peyton Manning fan. He had his jersey on when they played Carolina. He was sitting in the living room and he said, just hand the ball off. Don't do nothing. Because Peyton was garbage. He was washed. He was washed that year. They had enough to shoestring, but Von Miller was so dominant, they got over. But I know what you're talking about with Fox, because Fox was there when Tebow was there. That's probably and Fox. Well, all due respect to Tony Dungy, they should have named one of them football awards. They should have named one of them awards after Fox for coaching up uh Tebow to win 10 in a row with Tebow, 12 in a row. Yeah, you should definitely have an honor named after you because that was hilarious. He still had his mind, but he wasn't. Come on, when he that year that they won, he sucked. He looked deplorable. They had games where they did enough to win, but he wasn't him no more. He was shot. he was shot. I know, because I remember when Peyton Manning, his cadences and the way he used to play, that's not Peyton Manning. That's more like Eli. That's the stuff Eli did in the regular season. But then he get in the postseason, and that would be 26 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. That's how crazy he was. Because Eli was one of those guys you getting ready to bench, and then he gets in the postseason, and it's like, oh, you know. If you flip them two together, I remember what he did because I remember how poised he was. I remember how poised he was. Eli was there was no joke in the postseason, yo. But he was always threatening to get benched during the season. There's some quarterbacks like him. It's like with Flacco too. Certain guys they suck during a sign period, but if you get them in money time, forget about it. And then you got so-called great players, they get in money time and they shrivel. So go figure. Yeah, if you can combine the best of Eli and Peyton, you'd have the greatest quarterback ever. I'm kid you not. If we took the best of what they did and combined it as one, that would be the GOAT. Because Eli was business using the postseason. If he beat you that first one, he was gonna go. So Sean King was looked at. I don't understand that one. Sean King was like that? No, he wasn't. Not the Sean King I remember, not Tampa Bay against the Rams. Sean King. I remember that game. Oh, that was hilarious. That was hilarious. But anyway. But no, I give Eli that due. I wasn't hardly an Eli fan, but I'll give him that due. You remember when Deion Sanders used to go, I believe in Eli. I believe he can touch the sky. He used to sing, I believe in Eli. If I believe I can fly, he used to crack me. But Eli was the business. He did. He'd do it on NFL Network. He used to crack me up. I watched that every Sunday. That's when him and Shannon and Chris Rose were all up there. It was some funny nights too. And that one blonde chick, what's her name? She's nice looking too. What's he talking about? What's he talking about? What's old crying me a river Tiki talking about? Tiki, old Tiki Iki, tap dancing Barbara. What's he talking about? Can't say he couldn't win without him. Can't say he couldn't play better without him. Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, the first one. Yeah, yeah, I remember that. Cause yeah, and they won without him. They tolerate him because he was a good back, and he fit them at that time. If Tiki came today, his butt would have been gone after 4 years, as you know, because Shaquan is a better back than him, and they didn't even they ran Shaquan out. So, what you think they would have done with Tiki's fumbling behind? But that was a different era when they had Tiki. So, yeah. Well, see, talent wins out because you deal with a lot of funny time jive buttholes who they think they stuff don't stink, and then they give you that attitude, and so the people tolerate. Rondi made himself more teamable, and they won, and they got gathered around him. But see, Tiki played offense. He came up big. They tolerate talent. Get talent. People will deal with talented people with some charisma. They will. But let me tell you something. When they got rid of his butt and they won, they're like, we don't need him. So that was it. Yeah, Brandon. Yeah, they punishing back and it came up big. But the point is that, Tiki's style fit them at that time. He was a slasher, Jacobs became a big body. But yeah, yeah, no argument there. But Tiki had crossover appeal too, so on my brass show, I remember they ran with a powerful back. Yeah, I remember the two headed horsemen they had, and it worked out fine. Yeah, well, he did what a lot of them cats do. That's more common than you think. A lot more common than you think. They either leave them or they be messing around on them. So I'm not gonna sit there and act like I thought his wife was a nice looking woman, and that's all he left her with. So but again, that's common. You'd be surprised. The one thing that I give David Stern credit on, and I don't give him a lot of love, so you better take note on this date. He cleaned up a lot of cats. Yeah, because I remember as a kid, Steve Garvey, the baseball player for the LA Dodgers, did that to his ex-wife. And he had that Ronald Reagan part thing and hairstyle and vibe. And it kind of messed him up a little bit. Sometimes it worked for, sometimes it worked against you. It depends. Yeah, because Tiki can't say he was a family man. You just got to say yeah. But I think what hurts, I don't know. You think so? Because it didn't work against Bones Berry and Tony Parker in San Antonio. Even Ligorium divorce didn't work against him. Um, it didn't really hurt Golden Tate with Russell. He knock her up, but he got sent to Detroit, but he still kept a career. Yeah, I think that keeps it covered. All depends though. Yeah, and Steve Nash was like a thug with it. I don't know if you heard. Nash was like he wouldn't let her leave the state of. My buddy and I was cracking up because I think she couldn't leave the state of California. It was some craziness. Nash had some law written up. It was crazy. And never heard no more about it either. And white folks ain't say nothing about it. He got coaching jobs. He's no one said a word. So just saying. Hmm. Well, Jason Kidd knocked the fry out the ex-wife's mouth. That's what cost him MVP. But yeah, it was different. But no one got into Nash's situation though. But I know he had restrictions on her. That I remember. But this was after his career though. This wasn't when Nash was in that MVP run. This was end of his career. But even still, they made Jason Kidd go through a lot of hoops. A lot of hoops. And again, you don't really know these cats. That's one thing I gave Stern. Like I said, Stern was good at cleaning up aisle number 4 and number 5, 6. Cats got dirt. He cleaned it up. They still do. They still do. Oh yeah, he played great, especially going against the duo of Pierce and Twan. I mean, that was he brought it. You know. Oh, ain't no secret about it. I already know. I already know. I mean, you were real young. I was aware of it because the way things added up. But the thing was is that Stern was so gangster that they teased it. But again, Stern knew how to manipulate and slice and dice the situation for good or for bad. So reading about the Jordan thing, yeah. I remember like yesterday. It dawned on me so much. Well, so Jordan signed that deal with the Wizards A. Poland. He got half ownership of the Wizards and the Washington Capitals. But what no one has done is I might have to do a video. I don't know if I want to because I don't. When I talk about Jordan, I don't really. But I could talk about this one. I might. But I'll reveal it here. When he had to sell it back, he lost his ownerships. He got hurt, but really, you know what really hurt him? Well, I'm gonna tell you another thing too. Juanita back in 2002 had him followed in South Beach. Jordan was out late night with his women's. And that was known, but it ain't really been blown up. But that's why he had the biggest divorce settlement for NBA player. If you look it up, you can go Google it if you hadn't heard. I remember that whole thing went down, but the ESPN, they kept it under this tight lip. They didn't air his business out like that, but it was a known thing. Um, he didn't want him back because he wasn't the same dude. Yeah. Yeah. Juanita had security, had footage on the beach at 2, 3, 4 in the morning. She had his butt wrapped. And he wasn't the same dude. He was bigger. His body was giving out. He had to sit on the exercise bike. He played, but what he tried to do is that he wanted to bring Tar Heel Nation. That's what he tried. That's why he brought Doug Collins, and the whole thing backfired. They had some all right moments. He'd give you a moment or two where you think, uh-oh. But then Father Time had got him a lot. He, they came back. Yeah, for 5 million. And the thing about it was the baby wasn't his. But see, Stern and them made him settle, kept the progress out of it, kept the press away. The thing about it is because the money wasn't hard for him to come by and where he was, it didn't stick. Let's see. Oh, she did. But they had an arranged marriage anyway. She knew. She knew. See, because I don't know if you heard or not, she got pregnant when they first started, and they told him to marry her up. They was making endorsements for him. He had the same situation Sugar Ray Leonard had. He was money, and they needed his image to be, more polished. So he didn't hide nothing from Juanita. Yep. He came back too soon. He probably should have just waited. His body's so fragile. He got to be so careful. And all of that just to move up a seed or two? Come on now. We got, let's see. I tell you that, but you don't like to hear when I got to tell you that. And if I say something, I'll catch hate when I do a video about it because I did a check on it. And I'm like, who the heck are they playing over there in Memphis that you need 34 free throws? And you barely won by 3. It's not a good looking. They're not a good look team. Scottie Pippen Jr. going off. I saw Scottie up in the thing. I'm like, oh god. He looked all right last night. Pretty much. That coach need to be fired because you're gonna tell me that you just that pitiful without John Morant? Are you that horrible? Oh God. You're about what 3, 4 games better than the Pistons. I mean, that's embarrassing. I mean, you John Morant and Dylan Brooks, and there was somebody else, but you can't be that bad. You can't be that brutal. The Lakers are in trouble if they gotta go against. I told you if the refs don't blow the whistle, they in trouble. But I'm glad you do. Most people don't. Besides from the ones that have, smoking or drinking some, ain't no faith in them. They need all the free throws and some injuries and some crazy because they're not a good enough team to win no chip. They're just not. They're not championship worthy. You know. I just think they got bad habits, and I think they got a coach that they don't respect, and I think that's the problem that you're going to see, and it's going to rear its ugly head. And they're going to have a series where they can't get to the free throw line, they get bodied up. No, they need the Nuggets to slip on a big old banana peel because they can't beat that big mamba. They can't beat that dude. That dude is on a mission. Or you got Luca and Dallas, like you said. You were right on that one. They're not. They might could get through some other teams, but as far as the top tier, no. Mhm. But the way they play now, they look like they stole some banana peels. I mean, you need 34 free throws against Memphis. Did Marc Gasol come back to the door? Did Paul Gasol come to the door? Did Zebo come back to the door? I'm like, really? So, but you see, they Super Bowl worthy. You're not finals worthy. That's the difference. When I clown the 49ers, it's because their head coach is an inept. He doesn't know how to finish. And he had 3 different quarterbacks. Jimmy G, Trey Lance, and Purdy, and you've been to championships. But see, that's what I call a chip level ready team. The Lakers aren't chip ready. Please don't compare the Lakers to the 49ers because it's not comparable at all. Even with your bubble ring and your in season Walmart banner, you're not worthy of the 49ers in terms of talent. If I was going to do a cross sports reference, don't do that one because, well, yeah, they ain't slipped on more than banana peels. They slipped on grapes. Got hit in the head like Rip Van Winkle and they went to sleep. No, what happened? But not lately, though. Not lately. Not lately. Not lately. Not lately. So get my head comfortable real quick. Yeah, if you're gonna see, not since the '90s, please. You only been to one NFC. They only been to one AFC Championship game. That's not slipping on banana peel. That's not even open up the banana. The banana ain't even been opened by Buffalo. No, they ain't opened the banana. They were predictable last year. I knew when they lost that first game to the Jets. I knew what to expect. They win the division because Miami can't play in the cold. Their coach don't play no defense, and we just happen to put some strings together. But we're not. They're not a competent team. You lose every year in the playoffs, second round. You only been to one AFC Championship game in the Josh Allen year and Sean McDermott year. That's not banana peel because nothing is falling your way. Banana peel is when stuff falls your way and you slide on it. No, it ain't. Because Kansas City got their number. Banana peel slip means that something got in the way that prevented you, not when you do it yourself. As a Bills fan, I can tell you they do it themselves. They're self inflicted. That's not banana peel. They're self inflicted. Banana peel was for Green Bay against Seattle. I'll give you that. The Lakers aren't banana peel. They can't beat. They're not championship worthy. The Miami Heat are banana peel because they don't have a superstar to go with Butler and Bam. They're missing that guy that would centralize them. Banana peels gets in the way when you slide and when you should win. Buffalo ain't gave me no indication that they should win. So ain't no banana peel. Now that I will give you. And I think Two Raw did a video about that. I'll give you that. But that's because Chris Paul, James Hart, the usual suspects. And then you let playoff Clay go off. You let playoff Clay light your butt up. So yeah, you deserve to lose. Clay got that game 6 in him. Game 6 Clay. Yep, that's banana peel. Their own Achilles. Find a way to lose. James Harden and CP3. Par for the course. That's that Mike D'Antoni banana peel too. Find a way to slip. They got rid of him too after that too. It's like we know we ain't gonna win. Hmm. Yeah, as long as you find the right reference of the team, or it can be a music, it can be anything. Because I'll give you a banana peel. I'll give you a good one. 72. Donna Ross had Lady Sings the Blues. And Barry Gordy put out too many ads. They turned a lot of the Hollywood off. So they gave Liza Minnelli the Oscar over her because they said Donna Ross and were doing too much. Because it went to the ninth inning and the way that broken bat hit by Gonzalez, because you usually Rivera didn't give up the game winning. And that one, but that's not the worst one. 2004 will always be the worst. There's nothing that you can say is going to rival 2004. Nothing. Yeah, Arizona got the lucky break. Yeah. And what have they done since then? So, yeah, that is the new topic. That can apply to a lot of things. Trying to think who else would I say got a banana peel break. You could say Jay-Z got a banana peel break because of Biggie dying. Halle Berry, when she took off her clothes. Because after Monsters Ball, which she did that movie with Puffy. Ain't this strange how this thing just kind of, yeah, wasn't that long ago when I think about that. Her and Billy Bob Thornton and Puffy. Yeah, she really slid in the right direction. Bingo. For a long time, too. She knew. That's the only business I know that you don't have to even sing your booty or something. That good call there. Oh God, I ain't thought about her since her and Enrique. Yeah, she sucked too, but she was fine though. But she sucked though. I remember her like yesterday. Oh man, you bringing it back. You taking me back. I didn't even mention her name since LimeWire was around. If you must know, I ain't even lying. Yeah, I could say so. Yeah, I think so. There, well, she had some moment. Excuse me. Pardon me. Got my mask over there, so even if the screen gets something, I'm disinfected. So, um, I guess, I guess. Well, Mace looked well with Puffy, and then the man wearing the matching silver outfits, and he has charisma. It makes it's a good thing with him and OJ because he is charismatic, and his style did influence 50 in a few. I always thought he rapped slow, but he got over in his banana peel when he went to go be Reverend Mace and all that. So I don't talk about him. That's one turkey I don't particularly care for. I don't be feeling no spade. I think what it was is I remember back in the 90s, he was clowning Eddie Murphy because Eddie went through some box office blues and he was talking trash on Saturday Night Live. And Eddie took it personal. I took it personal too because I'm thinking, how's this third tier white boy who's corny got the audacity to talk about a guy who became a household name? What have you done? What have you done, David Spade? No one cares about your corny movies and stuff, you know, looking like alfalfa on crack. Nobody was paying you no mind. So when he took that shot at Eddie, I kind of took that personal. I did. Because I'm thinking, even if Eddie Murphy did fall off, Eddie got more of a career than you ever have. You take Eddie's fall off, and it still gets more attention than your fall on. So, but again, that was like in the early 90s when he said that. Alfie, alfalfa, yeah. Yeah, I don't like Spade. I never cared for him. I didn't find him that funny. But he went to White Boys, he keeps a job. What's up, man? What's happening? What's up? Welcome back, DP. DP. He just one of the white boys that got, he was on Saturday Night Live, and you know how that go. Because they just got black the last 10 years. So you know how that go. Well, good, man. Good. Enjoyed your family dinner. That's great. I'm glad you come through. We just chopping it up. We talking about got a new topic, and we just going on. So whatever you want to talk about, feel free. But yeah, Steve Harvey sidekick, and always been a sidekick. I'm doing good, thank you. It was a good day today. The weather was actually good. For a change, it was cool. Glad to hear that. Hope your family's doing good, and thanks for stopping through. Appreciate you. Yeah, Cedric, because he was always the sidekick. So we're talking about a banana peel. So sometimes when people, it goes two ways. Ted broke it down. Um, it can go against you because you have bad luck and it don't go your way, and you slide and you keep making excuses why you didn't accomplish. Then it can work for you. It can work for you that you happen to be in the right place, right time. So sometimes it's like wearing penny loafers in the snow and your feet, you slide, it's like you moonwalk. So you moonwalk one way, you might fall on your butt, or you might land, you might spin in the way. So a banana peel, sometimes when a banana peel is like metaphor, sometimes it can work for you, sometimes it can work against you. That's like a banana peel, like you slide on it. Yeah. It's a very interesting piece of fruit that I can only use that with. I can't think of another piece of fruit I could say that with. Can you, Ted? I really don't think I can say that about another piece of fruit that makes sense, because you'd have to explain it. Standing on sour grapes ain't the same, and riding apples. Only a Laker fan would. I like Devin, and I used to tell a buddy of mine all the time. I thought he was the more talented, like his athleticism more than Kobe, like Devin's athleticism, but he was a frustrating cat because he just didn't materialize more. And when we went to Dallas, he just, went through the motions. He had some talent. He just didn't get it out of him. Funny you be reading my mind like that, because I don't even talk about Devin for years. No, I'm a vegetarian. I don't eat that. And even when I did eat stuff, it was kind of strong for my nostril. Kind of stank. Wasn't my cup of tea. But you can ask T and see what he say. He landed with Dr. Dre for one. He had the machine and endoscope for two. He was able to get a movie put out. He was able to connect with an audience. He right place, right time, right complexion. I mean, I think with Eminem, it's pretty self-explanatory. Okay, I was just checking some real quick. Got it back now. Just had to make an adjustment. Almost like a Forrest Gump type of situation, kind of like falling in the Phil Jackson, Pat Riley type thing when you get to play with Michael Jordan, then you fool around, you get to play with Tim Duncan, then you get to coach Steph Curry. I mean, that's kind of Forrest Gumpy. Yeah, because you have a career and then you have a post career where I mean, you're sitting with guys. Think about it. You play with one guy who won six rings, you want another guy who won five. Now you with a guy that's got four. I mean, like, and you look at that. That's a charm life, really. So if you Steve Kerr, you count your lucky stars every day. Now the banana peel slid your way because it could have slid on your behind. You know, it's that close. Remember, some people's banana peels land them on their butt, and some others they land them on their feet. Depends. But back when you mentioned about Cedric, because he was always good enough sidekick. That's what got his banana peel. And even that corny TV show he got on CBS right now, he just fits in. I did a video about that thing. If you watch my videos, I did a video about it. It was embarrassing. It's a bad joke. And the diss tracks was a joke from Kendrick anyway. It's much ado about nothing. Cats don't know how to diss no more, no way. The diss in the game today is comical. He name dropped himself to the right people. He slurped up on Dre, worked with 50, Jimmy Iovine. He always, he was on that dating show. Oh, what was that show? I can't even think of the name right now. When he had the tattoo on his eye, I can't even think of the name. It came out 20 years ago. Well, J. Cole was trying to clap back at Kendrick because Kendrick said, "Y'all 1, 2, 3," and he says, "But y'all not seeing me. I'm the best rapper of the y'all." And so he was dissing J. Cole and he was dissing Drake. So J. Cole had a mixtape and he did a diss in there and he compared him to The Simpsons. And I'm like, that's not no diss. I said, yeah, The Simpsons is old and antiquated, but it's still the longest running cartoon. It's pop culture historical. It's one of the greatest, most important shows ever. So what you trying to say? So it didn't come out the way I know it didn't come out the way the diss didn't come out. Well, what he did is because he talked about the Transformers, and one of Kendrick's relatives is transformed. Yeah, it was about Kendrick's family member, but that's not gonna fly today. No one's taking nobody rapping and dissing today, no way, because there ain't but so many labels, and dissing today ain't the way it used to be. You dissing cast today, you may as well be you're dissing the wall. It's comedy. Well, I don't know how too black he is because he is dissing a guy like Kendrick who's considered black too. And the thing is that he's working with Jay-Z, all of them, all of them, because they're all in the prison complex. They all getting sought and bought and paid for. They all know about Puffy. They all know about Dr. Dre. They know all about. They have to associate. Why you think they get into movies and they get TVs and they get into endorsements? They all bought and paid. They all plants. The only ones that aren't are the ones that are considered has been or all of them. I don't trust none of them. I think they all because they all rub shoulders together. I watched that video with at the Black Expo with Puffy and Jay-Z. Shoot. And they all run in circles together. You think you get to be in TV and film without giving up something? Why you think 50? Man, they all running suspect. Fat Joe is a plant. Buster Rhymes is a plant. Trust none of them cats. Uh-uh. And anybody said nothing about Mr. C. They keeping their mouth shut about Mr. C. He slid into Brady. That's the most obvious ones. Because I mean he had the ultimate slide, but then again he slid on his behind after Brady. You saw him slide the right way, and then you saw him slide the wrong way. Yeah. Worked for him and it worked against him. He may not break that record. Who's gonna hire him? Uh from who? Sure did. He sure did. And I ain't seen nobody else go through that like him. Please educate me and enlighten me. Who went through it like him? I ain't seen it. I ain't seen it. He's the only top tier. You can make the case and say Popovich. But Victor Wamba is going to be after next year. That's about the only one. Um, well, that's because they strippers. That's why she ain't getting no monitoring. Try to get no validation from them. Because the only artist that you can compare to Madonna that's out now is Lady Gaga because of styling. She'll work with people. She did work with that girl from England at the Super Bowl. Where her visa got messed up because she had some crazy stuff going on. I can't think of her name because she was hot for like 6 months and then she fell off. They did the Super Bowl together. But Madonna ain't trying to get no Madonna trying to stay youthful, but she ain't trying to get no validation from nobody. And if she is, she's desperate. Yeah, the elder did something about Sexy Red, and I was thinking about I might do that too. I might have to do a video about that. But they all smell like trees. That ain't nothing gonna work against you there. Um, who would I pick? It's a tough topic because I'll tell you why. Pac inspired Biggie, and they both like there's different levels to why I like them. Um, Pac had the body of work. Biggie had crazy flow. So it depends on what moves me. I laugh more with Biggie because I'm more into the humor. Um, um, you know, I listen to Biggie a lot. Well, it wasn't just Diddy, it was also Jimmy Iovine and Interscope. They didn't want them really doing nothing. It was like who's gonna run them? But Diddy wanted to get the rights over him. No, he was gonna give up all that. If I had to pick all time of the two, I want to take Pac because of impact. Near more body of work. But I listen to Biggie probably more as far as what I bop to, if I was gonna bop. He did something. And the problem with him is that he didn't take a plea deal. He did something. Um, Meg the Stallion right now is one of those industry plants that they're gonna keep her fitted and booted. So he messed up. He messed up. But he may get out in about 4 or 5 years. I heard that Jaguar Wright said that. Would I be shocked or surprised? What I know about the industry? I wouldn't be. Well, it depends if he got federal time or state time. If he got state time, he'd be out about 4 or 5 with behavior. If it's feds, he gonna do about 8. All depends. He had a chance to get a plea deal. He'd have been about 4 or 5. He didn't take the deal. I don't know about Meg Thee Stallion. Well, see, in America, right, we have 2 different types of guidelines. Most of these guys who do getting federal time, federal guidelines is federal prisons where they go 85% of your service. State, they get you lesser time. And there's a different perception of the prison facilities. Feds, yeah, he had a 30-year bid. He did 9 because he was in state prison. That's why. If he had done federal time, he would have done 20, 22 or so. That's what the industry wants. They want them to be escort service, which that's what the industry does more. Well, he was gonna get more time than OJ because he had more of a violent nature. OJ had trumped up charges, but OJ's wasn't. Troy's was an attempt. That's how she's in the industry right now. How you think she's getting all the hype? She likes made men, though. Her daddy was like that, and she married a man that, you know, well, state guidelines, they have to go by directly a certain amount of time when they charge you. Federal, they're gonna give you 85% regardless. And federal sounds more romanticized because it's considered less severe. Well, she's light skinned, she's Creole, and she has appeal, and that's what they like in America. She's trying to appeal in a way that brings more of an audience, and it's worked for her career. If she looked like NDRE, she wouldn't be as half as big as she is. If she looked like Macy Gray, she definitely wouldn't be as big as she is. Now, I'm not saying that, I'm just saying something. You read between the lines. I'm going to tell you how color struck they are in the industry. You know Macy Gray, NDRE, Jennifer Hudson, Fantasia. If Beyonce looked like that, that ain't going to work. Yeah, and it's corny. It's not really what I call country music per se. I mean, and the thing is they trying to make it sound like she's doing something so new. When Mickey Gilk and Mickey Gutton been doing country music for a long time, African American sister. She just doesn't get the same love. She can sing too, Mickey Gutton. You should look her up. Black folks been doing country music. Black folks invented country music. But they got an agenda here for Beyonce. They have an agenda. It's kitschy, but she's not the first one. Not even close. And it's an insult. Well, if you go back and you know anything about type in black and country music, there's Jimmy Rogers back in the day, Charlie Pride back in the day, Ray Charles back in the day. I'm talking back, way back. If you want to go black acts who hit in country charts, Donna Summer had a song on the country charts. So did the Pointer Sisters in the 70s. Beyonce ain't the first. Well, that's what they want. They think people don't care. Yeah, you got to do your history on that. You'll see what I'm talking about. I don't pay TikTok songs no mind, but that's what's up. There's an agenda. There's a lazy mentality that's being sold. So I know that's why I don't like the industry. I don't. Um I got videos over there somewhat, but I'm on a little bit different. But um TikTok has the most simple, basic stuff that sometimes people like. And for 15 seconds, it's like a ringtone. It's like it does wonders. I can't explain it. But it's simple stuff that people feel they can. Some things have been informative. They had some news tidbits over there. They've had some stuff that's been legit, but they got a lot of simple stuff that blows up. And there's no reason to rhyme. But that's like with anything that you see nowadays. If it's simple, people get excited about it and they think, okay, I can do it. So just saying. Just saying. TikTok is accessible. People like accessibility. They do. Hold up. They like accessible. Because if it's easy, everybody got a chance to do it. If it's easy, you got hope. If it ain't easy, you got no hope. So, if that makes any sense to you. to bring that thing in, so got to charge up a phone. But people like accessible stuff. They don't like to think no more. He because he impersonates a lot of people and role plays a lot, he used it to his advantage 20 years ago with Ray. You know, which was been like a lifetime of role. Carrie physical comedy and did the slapstick. Of course I do, cause he be on. He had a show on Comedy Central. No, Central. Yeah, he is. I watched the show. He actually got funnier over time. I wasn't always feeling him, but he got funnier over time. Jim Carrey worked hard. He worked on his craft, and he made. You know, I know. I see him out the blue, crack me up. He came out the blue like he was Cal Ripken, crack me up. Trevor wasn't bug dancing, but he wasn't hip to black culture in America. That took a little while. But then once he got filled in, once things kind of started to fill in, he got more comfortable. And then he spoke out on some things. And then, you know, I just think it was kind of awkward at first because there is a difference between African American experience and African experience in America. And when you get those kind of situations, sometimes people aren't as, it takes a minute to kind of get that thing to gel. Yeah, but he plays like an old school soul brother. I mean, he plays like he belongs. You talk about Kevin Hart, and we know who you're talking about. He's the only short brother that's a comedian that's out right now. That's The Rock's friend. That's funny. That's a great way of filling the blank that didn't take but all of what, 2 seconds? Yeah. Wish we didn't know who he was though. Some of us anyway. I can't speak for everybody else that's on here right now, but I try not to think about him. But what about him? Well, Rock, I don't know if he's fruity. I just think that he plays the Hollywood game. But he might have Terry Crews situation where you never know, they may have touched him, felt him up. You know how it is in wrestling. You know how they own you on that mat. So I don't know. I don't put nothing past nothing when the money start like that because he's making, I don't know. um, well, they all play the same role. One thing about Hollywood, if they find a way to make you money and you make money and you play a certain imagery, that's where the money's at. That's what the image. That's what makes the money go. Kevin Hart was once upon a time had some humor. If you watch his old stuff, because he did a live stage stuff where he was clowning on Shaq 20 years ago, and then he just ended up doing buffoonery. And his movies have been pretty light cake, but he got an audience. I can't diss his success because he got an audience. He's one of the longest running success stories. He's like the Tyler Perry of comedy. Yeah, he got a long run. Yeah, they be, The Rock is playing an action hero. Usually they used to like dark skinned black action heroes. Him and Ving Rhames got the light, not Ving Rhames, but Van Diesel got the light skinned brother. Even though Van Diesel act like he got a tan, he don't really claim to be black. But that's another video, another story. But The Rock crossed over from wrestling. He became a big time persona. Tig and said, "My temperature, it's cool. It's decent today. It's decent. Could be warmer." I remember back in the day when April felt like you were near summer. This don't feel like near summer. About 50. About a low 50, high 40 type. Don't feel like spring though. Well, that's about 15 to 20. 15, about, I'd say about 12 to 15. And what T is talking about is like 20, 20, 25. I know what the timing mean because I time in England and time in Canada. So I know exactly what that means now. So you deduct it. It's like about 22, Canada, England. That's what they call it. Yep. That's what they mean. Which will throw you for a loop. Because I remember one time I was in Canada and they said it was 15. I thought, oh God, I gotta put a coat on. They looked at me crazy. Said, no, no, no. That means I said, well, y'all better tell me. I don't be doing this Celsius stuff because that Celsius stuff will have me walking out with a fur coat on. I'll be bundled up like a pimp. You up here gonna be up here telling me that it's 12 degrees. I'm like, no. Okay. I believe you. The Sahara deserts. I ain't lived like nowhere like that in ages. Excuse me. Hmm. Yeah, depending on where you live, because sometimes in different places you definitely feel it. And then we got humidity where I lived. So humidity alone can drop it. Okay. Okay. Hmm. Okay. Urban urban station opinion. What's that mean? You talking about black music station opinions? Or you got to explain that one. That's the only thing I know when I heard urban stand. No, they not. They gonna be in the Tennessee. They can they if they win the next game they're in. I think they got an easy game. The last game they got one more game. They're not out. Houston's out. Golden State, Sac, and the Lakers are in. The question is who's gonna go where. That's the question. But if y'all end up in a three-way tie, Golden State got tiebreaker. So y'all better beat. If y'all don't beat New Orleans and Golden State and Sac win, your butt going on the road. I think somebody gonna get knocked out because that's gonna be tough. Well, that's gonna be tough. Oh, okay. So in America, we call it gentrification. Okay, I got it now. Y'all call it urbanization. We call it gentrify. Gentrify in America is when they try to take an old black neighborhood and make it white. So if they have a hurricane, earthquake, or something bad, tumultuous happens, then all of a sudden they fix it up with brownstones and then they raise the rent and get the black folks out. That's what they do in America. It's the same thing, but a different context, what y'all call it. Yeah. They don't try to get the black folks to move to the cities. They try to move them out the neighborhood. Yeah, and ours is more sinister too, because they did it in Harlem and in Brooklyn. They did it in the black areas. They always do that. See, when black folks is living in poverty or down broke places where you got rats and roaches and mice, and you got really broke spots and broken glasses, and you got a lot of debris. They don't do nothing with the neighborhoods. But when they want some white folks to move in, then they clean it all up. It's like you was spick and span. So don't get me started. Well, because no one probably talks about it, where things that they do, but they do work against us in systematic. That's why you have systematic institutionalized racism. We deal with Jim Crow. We dealt with old from slavery. I mean, when I talk about this, I don't sound like a James Brown beating a dead horse, but it's facts. It's two Americas. And when I say this, I'm talking about how they allow ghettos and hoods and section. They allow debris for the so-called richest country in the world. They allow people being, and they target black folk. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Because when I was coming along, the suburbs was considered white, and they had a way of, you know, they had a way of not being so neighborly or how they wanted to be. They 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 have this cold, cool demeanor. Oh yeah, the burbs. There's black suburban life and there's white suburban life. Some places are still segregated, some intermingle. Yeah, they still legalize segregation. Ted'll tell you. Ted'll tell you about it in Ohio. They have segregation anywhere you go in America with places because they have Chinatown, they have little Mexico, they have little Italy. Yeah, black sections, they have all that. Yeah, it's happened like that in America too. I used to live in a neighborhood. It was so black and chocolate. The only thing you used to see there was teeth that were white, and they didn't come out until the nighttime. They didn't come near the neighborhood. Neighborhoods were segregated. I have no opinions. I've heard it's a freaky place. That's the only thing I know. I know that they got them put them president people that run there. They do some freaky things. It's quite warm there, but had a buddy of mine who went there. Enjoyed some of it, but had in the summertime was too hot. Stay back. But I heard a lot of mixed things about it though. So some people liked it, some didn't. It depends what they were doing. Well, she is doing business. She's doing the same thing Whitney or anyone would go over there to do, and Alicia Keys too. Get those royalties to pay them to $15 million. It's business on behalf of America, because you got to claim that tax when you come back, right? Which they don't tell you about. That's ambassador type behavior. Okay. She doesn't just go over there and tour. Rihanna just doesn't go and get $6 million unless that's clarified. Hmm. Depends on what your purpose is. I, you know, I don't know. They into some real debauchery. I heard that. They're into some things over there. Okay. No. Do tell. What makes you say that, Seth? Okay. Yeah, it's a Saudi Arabian child that was the president. Okay. 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 Hmm. Sounds like some stuff in America that they've had sitting forever in a day and they just ain't done nothing with it because they too lazy and they don't want to tax or they don't want to pay nothing on it. Yeah. Hmm. Okay. Yeah, if you ain't got your things straight, the Medicare, because depends on what kind of systems you got and what your finances is with it. It can be quite pricey. It can be very pricey. People lose their homes, they lose their savings. Healthcare is not good. If it was free and universal, I think America would be the place to be. But they don't make it for everybody. There's deductibles and all that, but there's so much strings attached to it. So it's important how healthy you are. Mm. Yeah, it's like that in the States. And what ends up happening is it goes into a collection. And if you don't pay it, it might earn interest or they have some way of kind of working it out. But it is very evil. And again, it's a have not situation. So if you work at a company, I go back years ago, I worked for a company. They've been capitalist. That's nothing new. That's nothing new. The white coats at the pharmacists are pimps and hustlers. They make money because that's why they need viruses and they need diseases and plagues to keep those pills popping in you so you can get charged for them. That's the biggest racket there is on the planet. It ain't nothing but a racket. And, you know, I'd like to tell you that it's something new or different, but it ain't. They could have been found cures for cancer if they wanted to. They got it. They just don't want to because it's too much money while you sick. They're very evil and they're very demonic. And the more I just there's secret society that is benefiting off of people's misery and pain. So that's why I'm a firm believer that thank you. That's why I'm a firm believer there's gonna be another virus outbreak or something. This COVID thing is still around. It ain't over. It's not the pandemic that is wiping you, but it ain't over. Don't let up your guard and think you can't get it, and don't act like they can't find a way to come up with something else because they'll come up with something else. Yeah, they don't want people being smart and enlightened. But if we got all this technology that we can tap into, how come they still can't find cures for cancer? Makes no sense. They don't want to. If they do, they got it stashed away. And then they feed you that food they feed you with pesticide and all kinds of unknown quantities, and then you get sick behind that, and then you drink and all that stuff and smoke on. So They got you tangled up. So I don't trust none of it. Yeah. That's one thing we know about being in America. You know that people say conspiracy and people be like, think you crazy, but hey, they've done more than enough to remind you that they do what they want to do, how they want to do it, when they want to do it, where they want to do it. Tuskegee experiment against African American men was a real thing. So don't trust nothing they do. Well, that's because they don't want to pay the workers. That's all that's about. You know that. They're going to pour them out and act like, oh, $25, $20 is too much and all that, but they're still raising prices up. And they want to have a crypto. That's that crypto. That's that Bitcoin, all that other stuff. Bitcoin is going to be for the kiosks. They want to go paperless. They want to make things. And there will be an era that will be the norm. It's not going to happen to you, Dutch, because you're 25. But there's some kid out there right now that's probably about 10. That's going to be their norm. 15, 20 years. That's going to be their norm. 15, 20 years from now, that's going to be their norm. So, won't be long. They've done everything to make life remote anyway. I mean, Zoom, they've got a lot of things that are remote. So, well, I already live in capitalist. And I have dealt with communists. So take your pick. They bought six, one half dozen. I mean, they greedy and they rebel when they want to. Take your pick. I mean, if you live in America, it's already about capitalism. And communists, they take over. So it's kind of like a flip on play on words when you understand where you've lived and where you've been. That's all. That's not no diss to you, but that's just a fact. I didn't see both sides in America. Oh my God. Okay. Just checking out the time. Got 10 more minutes because I've been on for 2 hours and 10, and I'm going to make that because I did promise I was going to go extra tonight. So we got 10 more minutes. But yeah, it's like a hybrid of both, actually. Because to some people may look at it is like a diss because it's like it is your opinion, but it's also a diss. You can diss something and it can be your opinion. Well, I'm glad you came through. Appreciate good seeing you. Yeah, thanks for coming through. Glad you made a time after your meal and everything. Okay, yeah, I still got like 10 more minutes. I'm on for 10 more. Um, you diss something, but it's your opinion, but you're saying that that's just how you feel. So I'm coming with a comment on top of it because sometimes you say, yo, I'm gonna have to go in on the diss, but this is how I feel. So that's all. No, it's not a diss to you. It's a diss to what I was talking about, your question, not you. It was the when you because I was saying that America falls into both criteria. That's what I meant to. Oh, that's cool. But yeah, okay, I'm just gonna retrace. Yeah, this is what I was just saying. Yeah, it's It's just how I look at it because America falls in all that. If you lived in America, you understand exactly what I mean. They a little bit of everything. And then there's something of nothing. They all of everything and a lot of nothing. And you sometimes just end up shaking your heads like scrambled eggs or unscrambled. So it's one of them things you got to kind of experience. And then once you talk to people and you see things, then you're like, yeah, I get it now. Because on one hand, there are things that are like genius. And then on the other hand, there are things that are like mental illness. And that's the best way I can describe it. So there's a lot of division and divide, so conquer. So it flows into a lot of different directions. Hmm. Well, that's what you're saying. I'm not going to say that about myself. I let other people say that. If you think so, I appreciate the compliment. I don't, I'm still learning stuff, but I appreciate what you said. I read a lot, though. If there's anything that I will just acknowledge, I read a lot. I've been fortunate enough that I had grandparents and people who instilled in me to learn things from before my time, during my time, and make sense of stuff. That's all. So it just comes from reading a lot and just being a student of life. That don't cost you nothing. That's just your willingness. I don't claim to know everything. Some things I'm still learning. There's a lot of stuff that you mentioned I'm learning about and appreciate you sharing. Ted brings up stuff, people bring up stuff. I learn, I observe, but what I do is I do my research. I go and, try to sponge as much. It's just that I read a lot and then I been around. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm glad you came through. I'm glad to have you through because you come, you know, you bringing back culture and you have a perspective. And it's always important that we tune in to learn from one another. That's what it's about in the day. Glad you came through. I'm only as good as what comes through and what asks questions because I don't go around professing to know everything or hardly anything. Just been fortunate and blessed that I opened my mind. Yeah, I appreciate it because I mean it helps out. It's a rubs one way rubs to another. I just read a lot. That's all, and I'm a nerd. Sport. I do a lot of nerdy stuff about stuff that I'm interested in, especially when I geek out on stuff that I like. Sometimes things I don't like, but you got to live. Well, yeah, I believe in doing it because it's important that we communicate and that we tap into different things. There's a lot of conversation about a lot of things that you may not bring up in your everyday life or the people that you encounter. Because you can walk through 20 people every day and you might get two head nods and you might get like 15 looking at you like you crazy. And then the other three, it can go either way. Well, I just get called it. I call myself that because of how geeky I get about stuff that I like. It's not anything to do with any job or profession. It's just in my DNA. So when I make myself like learning stuff or talk about a topic, you got to kind of geek out because you're feeling a certain way. You're not, you know, it's important that you put your best foot forward. That's all. Because if I'm going to have a conversation, I want to, articulate it a certain way. I don't want to come across like a dodo. And that's what a lot of people do today. It's in November. November 4th, around that first week in November. And I could care less. Because I told you I want reparations. I ain't got nothing to do with no elections. I don't care about none of them clowns. Well, thank you. But, again, that's just how you carry yourself. That's all. I just believe in articulating and also challenging myself. So that's all. I believe intelligence is important. That's why you don't see me you don't see me cursing or using vulgarity, or I want to articulate the best possible way I can and challenge my mind. And a lot of it starts with the way I eat too, what I drink, what I consume, and how I, walk and do things. Thank you. My aunt told me she liked it too. I've had this hat for, oh God, when I bought this hat back. I had this hat for like 13 years. Thank you. I stopped cursing a long time ago and I felt way better. And then I felt like I wasn't saying anything. So I was disrespecting my soul. That's why I don't curse. I feel like it was evil to my soul to use those kind of words. It's not that things don't come up in songs or TV shows or movies or something like that. It's just I don't want it coming out of me. And then I've been very cognizant about it and just things I don't do. I don't knock people about it, but I don't necessarily particularly care for it because I always say that I always was told people say those things when they can't properly articulate what they're trying to say. So it is important that you say what your most composed best way so you don't say it in anger, you know. It's like when I hear about, I don't know, we're going to talk about OJ Simpson real quick. I'm seeing people that are saying good riddance and his death and cancer and saying evil. And to me, God don't like ugly and don't think much of pretty. You have to have a respect. You have to humble yourself. So I think that that's important that that gets balanced. So, and I'm noticing some of the comments when people talk about him, regardless of where they came down on the verdict or what they thought, it's a lot of evil. No matter what you come down on somebody, you don't wish death on nobody. You don't wish anything bad on nobody. There's a lot of negative folk out here. Lots. So, but yeah. So that's where I'm at with stuff. Well, I'm not a role model. I'm a real model. There's a difference. I ain't trying to be no role model. I'm trying to be a real model. I'm trying to reel things in where I can talk and think from a spiritual perspective because that's what's most important. Um, we have an incredible society of intellect and we have a great technology, but we have a mindset of technology is like 100 and man is 10, and people go gravitate towards the 10. They love the caveman mindset. That's what you're dealing with because they have not broken out of that model and they don't want to break out of the model because they get to be treated like they're kids. Now we all have humor. I have humor in me, and there's things that I laugh at. Like I'll crack up off of gold diggers, and I crack up off of the 304. We talk about that all the time in here because that stuff is trifling. It's sad too, but that's what a lot of people allow themselves to be. There's a Kardashian, trashy, and the bimbo, low key, low. Self. This is what they sell you on. However, there comes a point when that gets old quick, and it comes a point where you need some more substance. It's like if you go eat your dinner table and your mother, father, whoever was taking care of you as a kid or grandparents or something, and they said, DP, you eat all that meat, you need some vegetables, son. You need some broccoli, you need some carrots, you need some peas, you need to balance your plate out. I saw that. I saw that. I expect him to. Kid always be in the cut. That's not a surprise because it's about Sean McDermott, Ted. That's all that's about. He's dissing Josh to get to the coach. That's what's up. Dang, that's a diss to the coach and the quarterback. Well, yeah, he told the truth because they weren't. Now he got Deshaun Jackson as his spokesperson because Deshaun is dissing, saying they ain't gonna. He had the nerve to come out and say they're not even gonna be better than New England next year, which I laughed at. But he didn't think they could beat Kansas City. I believe him on that. But well, yeah, because he's Diggs does come across grumpy and crouchy, and but he's got a but he, you know, they should have been better than what they were. They really should have been. They've underachieved in Buffalo. You can't have a superstar quarterback. No, 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 which is great. Which it well, it's because it's been pretty low key tonight. That's just good. I guess people are doing things. Sometimes you get a lot of it, and I like that though. I don't need trolls. It's tiring to have to delete and research that and all that because that's just a lot of work. I like to think people can be grown and speak their mind and be adult, not be SpongeBob in it. But yeah, yeah, he was right. I'm not disputing it, Ted, at all because I'm not sold on. I think that McDermott done had enough time with Josh. They done lost five different ways since Diggs been there in the playoffs. So you're squandering. Just connecting with folks. You know, I don't have no get rich thing. I don't even have people donating. If they want to, they will. If they don't, they won't. Yeah, don't talk up trolls. That's true. But my channel's been doing quite well, and it's been a blessing. And it takes a life of its own. I had a buddy of mine some years ago said you should do a channel, and I said okay, I'll do it. And that's how it ended up because I could, articulate. Now, I don't say nothing. I don't want to jinx it. Believe me. Besides, you got to worry about the YouTube trolls too, because they be watching what you say. Some things, if they don't like what you say, they messing with different people. hmm So I know that game too. But that's all. There's a lot of that, but that's everywhere I go. Dang, you can't avoid that. Those are the worst ones. I haven't got anything yet with OJ, but I got hit with the Trumpsters. And whenever I do my anti-gun videos, so they come out the woodworks. Yeah. I got about 3 more minutes before I roll. Yeah, great to see you, DP. When you think you come back again? And like Ted said, I'll let everybody know when I come on. Yeah, great to see you again, DP. Appreciate you coming through. Great questions, great chat. Thanks for the words, man. Appreciate it. Likewise, I appreciate you. And thanks for coming through. Stay safe, man. Okay, what's up? Yeah, I heard about that. That's just gonna be par for the course. That's just gonna be par for the course. That's the start of the civilization that's about to go down. So expect more people uniting and coming together to start another war. That's what's up. And I always say I feel like the book of Revelations is coming, the last days of time. It's money, it's greed, it's power, it's the takeover. And that's what you're dealing with. That's what's up. And I'm not shocked or surprised because that's been the way it's been throughout civilization. Uncivilized. That's why it's been that way. Always, I say Book of Revelations. If you understand about the Book of Revelations, you know exactly what I mean in the Bible. That's where we're headed. Disease, death, destruction. Yeah, okay, because I'm getting ready to go off myself. Peace out, man. Good to talk to you. Thanks for coming through. Appreciate you. All right. Anyway, I gotta give it a go step. Gonna give me a little bite again. Been on for 2+ hours. Glad everybody came through. Thanks, Ted. Appreciate everybody came through. All the crew that came through. No robots, no nothing funny this time around, which was good to know. Yeah, and then thank you for coming through. Appreciate it. So I will maybe come back tomorrow. We'll see how I feel tomorrow. It's the last night of NBA season, so I might come by see what's up. If not tomorrow, definitely Monday, but probably tomorrow. But not probably as long because I'll probably do like a mini one tomorrow, regular on Monday. But anyway, appreciate everybody. Have a safe night. Stay safe. Stay careful. Be cool out here. Appreciate you all. Thank you for the questions, commentary. Stay warm. Stay cool. Till next time we catch you. Peace the best amount.